pre-show before the free show.
Pew, 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 pew,
Okay.
pew, pew.
Friday.
It is Friday. It's been Friday all day, actually.
Friday.
Okay, it's been Friday all day.
Thank you.
I suppose. Welcome into the pre-show before the free show. Let me turn this chair. Make it look like we're professionals.
No, I can show the wide shot.
There's a wide shot. See, now it's like, it's very clear how alone I am.
Yes.
Like that's the value here.
I did forget to move the chair today.
That's fine. It's okay. It's just like there could be a friend sitting there, but there's not.
I think I'm just gonna leave it on the wide shot for the rest of the day.
Can you play some sad bed music?
Yeah. Hello, darkness, my old
Yeah, exactly. It's
friend.
something. Don't get copyrighted and stuff like that. Welcome to the pre-show before the free show. I'm Greg. That's Gizmo. We are here on in May. It is May. Let me get out ahead of this, okay? Because I had a moment of panic yesterday,
Okay.
or the day before, one of the days. I have a lot of moments of panic, so it's hard to keep them all straight. Next Sunday, not this Sunday, not 2 days from now.
Yeah, I scared the living poop out of you.
Next Sunday is Mother's Day,
Correct.
okay? And we, and I do mean we, the royal we, everyone listening, cannot mess this up.
Yes.
We can't mess it up.
Nope.
I mean, if you're a mom, like you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
Like to be clear, I'm speaking to non-mothers.
Yes, correct.
You guys, do your thing, Playboy. Chase that money. But whatever you need to do to get prepared for next Sunday, 9 days from now, start now.
You know what rocks so hard?
What rocks so hard?
My brother, shout out Jake Pickle,
JP.
is really excitingly, he's graduating from the University of North Texas, on next Saturday. So we'll have Jake's graduation party, and then that means that my entire family is basically up here and staying. So I'm going to be able to celebrate not only like with my mom,
Yeah.
but also with like aunts and stuff like that. So very excited. I got the brunch reservation made.
There
So,
was a
pumped.
moment of panic though, because the topic of Mother's Day came up in the office.
Because I was talking about it.
You were talking about it, and I made you say the words to me. It's not this Sunday.
Yeah, because
Like-
I was explaining that I'm taking off next Friday because I have a lot to prep for with all the family coming into town and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, and Mother's Day, and he was like, wait.
It's like, wait.
I was like,
hold
no,
up.
You're good. I'm just a week ahead because there's
Yes.
too much
We
stuff
can't-
going on.
We can't do that. I do have a news story for you. This is the
Dateline.
Pittstown, Pennsylvania. So, as we know around here, the Catholics are back on top.
Okay.
We've
well,
been like,
Are they? I think they were. I don't
it's been
know.
it's been a real heater for Catholics.
Notre Dame was not doing good this year.
They were fine. They were,
I don't think that they had
2023
like
football.
a spectacular year by any stretch of the
They
means.
won the Sun Bowl.
Yeah.
The Sun Bowl rocks.
I love the Sun Bowl, but I don't think that the Notre Dame fans necessarily
they
love the
finished
Sun Bowl.
Final AP poll 2023 for football. Notre Dame finished the year 14th. They
Okay.
went 10-3.
Yeah,
Catholics back on top.
but,
That's what I'm saying.
Catholics.
Are having a moment here.
Okay.
But this is a tough moment for the Catholic community. Dateline Pittstown, Pennsylvania. Not Pittsburgh, Pittstown. A Catholic priest in Pennsylvania is facing criminal charges after allegedly splurging $40,000 of church money on Candy Crush and other slot machine apps. Lawrence Kozak, the former pastor of St. Thomas More Parish in Pittstown,
Lawrence.
Father Lawrence,
Father Lawrence.
allegedly
get it
stole
together.
thousands of dollars of church funds and used them for App Store transactions like Mario Kart and Pokemon Go. All right. I'm not here to first of all, the Lord teaches us to forgive. I'm not here to defend Father Lawrence. That's a tough, Father Larry, that's a tough deal, okay?
Yeah.
I will say it is too easy to spend money on some of these apps.
That is a factual statement. We also have to take things.
To be clear, I'm not. He definitely had intent on this.
$40,000
$40K
is a wild. We are living in different tax brackets, but I guess we're honestly not, because he didn't seem to have the money himself. He had to steal it from God.
So, Pennsylvania State Police allege there were 2,000 transactions marked as gaming in a document running from September 2019 to June 2022. He is accused of splashing over $214,000 in total over these apps.
Oh my goodness.
$214,000
Wow, you buried the lead.
on
Good
gaming apps.
Lord.
Well, I mean, that's not a crime. If you want to spend $250,000 on phone apps, you can.
But you can't use Jesus' money.
You can't use the Lord's money.
That's
embezzlement.
You can use
is what
your
that
money.
is. Correct. I can bankrupt my family because I gotta be a fruit ninja. But
But you shouldn't.
But don't take the church's money. Don't pass the plate around an extra time to feed your slot machine
Addiction.
hankering.
Yeah.
You know, because you just gotta win this level of Angry Birds. It's a tough scene.
Angry Birds is a good game. It was very popular. My brother,
I know.
Real
Jake.
quick sidebar. Angry Birds, they had the birds, but they also had the pigs. Like, the pigs were what you were supposed to hit with the bird. Like, you needed to get rid of the pigs.
I know this only because there's an Angry Birds movie that Hank has seen.
Okay. The pigs, Jake used to have a bright green shirt with the bright green pig on it, and he loved that shirt. I mean, I'm talking like he's like probably 6, 7 at this point.
He should wear that to graduation.
It was the worst shirt ever, and my mom was like, I'm not fighting him on it. I'm letting him go out in it. And I was like, Mother, you cannot let him go out in public in that. Because I was like, at that point, closer to 13, 14. And so I cared about my fashion and all that stuff. Jake just loved his pig shirt. And he looks back at those photos, and he's like, Mom, why did you let me go out in the house in that? And I was like, thank you.
No, old Jake was right. New Jake is wrong.
Correct.
That shirt rocks. and he should wear that everywhere.
The pig shirt.
He should wear that to his next job interview.
It was the bane of my existence.
That'd be great. Anyway, no shout out to Father Larry Kozak, not
the Texas
Football Today Listener of the Week. Hit the theme, Expo.
Amen.
Yes, y'all! From the brand new Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a program with internet access. My name is Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you're watching us live at TexasFootball.com, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. Don't call it X.
No, I'm out on X.
Nobody's making you do it. Or you'll listen to the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show, the little show that could. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is the Duchess of the Dorks, Miss 305. She's Ashley Pickle. We had to explain to our new colleague. She was watching the show. She's like, "Why are you Miss 305? Is that like the Llano area code?"
I was like, no, Dale.
Dale. The answer is always Dale.
I feel so bad for our new coworker Brooke, because it's funny that you don't realize how many bits and gags there are, not even just on this show, but in our office in general. And you don't realize it until someone new comes in and they're like,
they come
I know
in cold.
that you're saying words,
Yes.
but I don't understand how they all correlate.
Yeah, they're coming in cold, and you have to explain dumb things to them.
Well, and it's the same kind of thing. Like, I mean, even from like a technology standpoint, because I understand like this side of stuff, I always feel like I'm speaking a foreign language that people don't understand. And then I talk normally about normal things around our office, and I realize we're still speaking in code. Like, I don't, I feel like my dialect in this office is not one of normal people.
I would say that's true. Yeah. And it's just because we all spend a lot of time together. Yeah. And like, you and I have done a lot of shows together.
Far too many bits.
Yeah, we have
but
a lot
the people
of
know the
bits.
bits on this show.
They do. Those are our people. Hi, guys. Today is Friday, May 3rd, 2024. Hi, China. Wow, ghosted by our operations.
Let's go.
Stop encouraging her. Friday, May 3rd, 2024. It's 209 days till Thanksgiving. Happy belated birthday to my friend and Pickle's friend. Our friend, America's friend, Will Wilkerson. William Wilkerson turned an age yesterday. And our digital director, he had a birthday. Yeah. And his wife tried to send him cookies, and they never arrived.
Oh, no.
Did you not hear about this?
No, so I knew that she was sending him cookies, but I was stuck in meetings yesterday, so I did not know.
Yeah, it was meeting.
That stinks.
Yesterday was meeting Monday.
I sent her the address. Did I mess up?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
We can talk about the address later. Well, here, actually, let me give you Pickle's personal home address. It's episode 1766. Whoa, let's go. On today's show, folks, back half of the show, we'll do the second part first. Back half of the show, Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday. We're answering your questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, anything you got. Let us know in the comments, Facebook, YouTube. We will get to as many as we can in the back half of the show. Before that, we will hear from the head coach of the Midlothian Heritage. We'll hear from the Jaguars, rather. It's Coach Eric Edwards. Yes. So stay tuned for that. Matt Stepp called them at a recent state 7-on-7 qualifying tournament. Good opportunity to get to know one of the programs there in that perennial power, perennial force there. We'll hear from Eric Edwards coming up here in just a moment. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was TJ Hudson, Joey Hill, Daniel Agnew, and Ed McElroy. Welcome in, fellas.
Welcome in, friends. We do appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with us here on May Day. That's not true. No. May, Friday. It's going to be May.
You can't stop.
What if I may?
Oh my God.
About a week ago, Matt Stepp was at a state qualifying tournament for 7-on-7. Caught up with the head coach at Midlothian Heritage, Coach Eric Edwards, to see what's cooking down there at Heritage. Here's Matt Stepp's conversation with Eric Edwards of Midlothian Heritage here on Texas Football Today.
Matt Stepp, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, back here at the Melissa 7-on-7 state qualifying tournament. Here at the head coach of the Midlothian Heritage Jaguars, Coach Eric Edwards. Coach, appreciate you taking a few minutes to chat with us.
You bet, man. I appreciate you.
All right, first off, you kids are 2-0 so far today. Got one more game left to play. I know you're happy they're 2-0, but we know it's not real football. We know it's the big boys make up a big part of it. But when you're watching your kids compete, what do you want to see out of your guys when they're playing 7-on-7?
It's fun every year because we say who's been to a varsity 7-on-7 event, and there'll be some hands go up and a lot more hands go up that have not. And so to see those guys in a different role that they're not used to, that's always entertaining and frustrating and all the emotions wrapped up, but it's good. It ends up being good. And again, we're started off, won a couple close games, found a way, and that's we want to compete. Like everybody says, we're going to do this because we want to see guys compete. We're competitors in everything, but we want to evaluate guys too in some skill areas, especially those young ones get their shot, which is good. Really good some guys here in teams, so that's a exciting thing for us. But we don't care if we go 0-3 and we go home. It's all about, can we get better each game? Can we learn something? And we're hands off, so having them take control of it and communicate. And
you're just a cheerleader, right?
Yeah, just a cheerleader. Really good cheerleader. Really good.
You've been working on that a little bit, being a good cheerleader?
Yeah, I mean, both my older sisters were cheerleaders, so I was. All right. Mom was a cheerleader sponsor, so I'm well versed. Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Sure. So you guys are also in the middle of spring football right now, so you're balancing that. And I know you guys are just getting started. Next week you'll kind of really get into it. I think you're putting the pads on next week. I know your kids are probably excited about that. For the Midlothian, for you guys, for for Heritage, what are the questions that you guys need to have answered as you're going through these 15 or so practices?
Man, and you start with the decision, do you want to do spring or not? And just a numbers guy, you get a lot more practices in pads, and that's really it. I mean, we can evaluate a lot of skill things in 7-on-7 and with the legal time to work through them through the summer, and that plays a part in it. But then, offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, they're going to have some new faces in those areas. Some young guys, some guys that were great JV players, and now it's their time. So all that, I mean, that's the main objective. And we'll do a little scheme and all that kind of stuff, but it's more who can play football fast physically and do their job.
You can be physical in the spring, right? A lot of times during the season, especially when the game starts, you have to kind of back off the physicality a little bit just to keep guys healthy. But in the spring, you can get after it a little bit, right?
Get after it, be creative to keep the kids fully in, because you do get tired of beating the crap out of each other. And so there's that factor, but mixing in different types of days and competitions, it's gonna be a good thing, really good thing.
You guys have ever since Midlothian Heritage High School opened there in Midlothian, you guys have had a winning tradition. I don't think there's been a season where you guys have really had a quote unquote bad year. It's hard to keep that up, especially in the district that you guys have been placed in, even in 4A, now in 5A. You're in a tough neighborhood no matter which direction you go. A lot of good teams, and I think UIL realignment once again put you guys in a tough district. A lot of good football in your new district. You're going east instead of west this time. I know Ennis is coming with you, but when you look at your district, when you got your packet there at UIL realignment, if you had to summarize what your district is going to bring to the table, what did you think? Man,
I thought it was just very similar kind of to what we were already in. And you take out Everman and Mansfield Summit and Joshua and Burleson, but then you add Terrell, and you add Mesquite Poteet, and you add Kaufman. You add some teams that have been playoff teams and really good, and Crandall, who we have a history of playing. We played for a long time. We played every year, whether it was in district or non, but and played them in the playoffs year before last. Great program, great place, great coach, and that's. There's some friends of mine that are coaches on some of those teams, and that was exciting. To see when it came out, but very similar. And our message will still be the same.
A lot of tough teams, right?
Yeah, it'll be good this year.
And then looking at your non-district schedule, we were talking off camera. We thought, Midlothian Heritage is going to line up some patsies and get 3 easy wins. No, you guys lined it up, and we're just kidding about that. But really, when you look at your schedule, it's among the toughest in the area. It kind of break down, your non-district schedule, because it's a challenge, isn't it?
It is, and I was very transparent. After the season, going and with our leadership council, with this group that we have I want to schedule state championship programs. I want to schedule as much as possible the best in the state. And if we go same as here, if we go 0-3, but we figure it out, then that's what we want to do. And starting with Stephenville, and we've done that a few years now. And Coach Doty does an awesome job. And it is my hometown. It is a great program. They expect to win state championships and have a good chance to do it this next year. Argyle, who's been there and done it year in and year out. Coach Rogers, a great program. They're going to be a great test. And then going east to Texas High and Texarkana, which I know they're going to be well coached and be sharp. They're a great playoff team last year and have been there again. So tough road, but excited about it.
Yeah, it's kind of, but it will get you ready for your tough district and then potentially a playoff run, because Region 2. You obviously have South Oak Cliff. You got the state champs, P&G in Region 2. Now, if you get into the playoffs, it's going to be a gauntlet as well. So that's going to do nothing but get you guys ready for that potential run, right?
That's it, man. And trying to figure out the puzzle pieces and scheme, whether it's players, it's scheme, and then put our best foot forward through district and make the run. That try to get over that hump that we've gotten to a few times, round 3, round 4. So we want to get all the way to it. Yeah.
Now, final question for you. If you were to assess what the personality of Midlothian Heritage football is going to be in 2024, and I know it's still early, but if you had to guess right now, what do you think your team's personality is going to be next year?
Fast and physical.
Okay.
Fast and physical.
No hesitation there, right?
That's it. Yeah. That's it. We'll be well coached and got, an awesome staff, man, that God's blessed us with some great men. So we're going to be well coached, but man, we're going to run the ball. We're going to play the game fast and physically.
There you go, Coach Eric Edwards, the head coach of Midlothian Heritage. Coach, appreciate your time. Enjoy watching your kids here compete, and good luck the rest of the way, and good luck in 2024.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, brother.
There he is, Eric Edwards, head coach, the Midlothian Heritage Jaguars. Join us here. Texas Football Today. Appreciate his time talking with Matt Stepp at one of these state qualifying tournaments for 7-on-7. Of course, you can find all of our coverage for 7-on-7 at texasfootball.com. We got exciting stuff coming up for 7-on-7, by the way. which we are not at liberty to talk about right now.
But
we will be.
it's in the works.
We're in the lab. So we appreciate Eric Edwards hopping on with us. We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com. Talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Hey, Pickle. You love your mom, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's the best.
I love my mom. And if they didn't already have it, then I would say that a perfect gift to show your mother how much you love them is a subscription to Dave Campbell's Texas Football. TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Get your mom the 2024 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football before it hits newsstands. Get her a year of Dave Campbell's Texan Live, our streaming platform. Like, she can watch playoff softball on Texan Live.
There's so much stuff.
Plus, when football season rolls around, hundreds and hundreds of live Texas high school football games, including hundreds of live Texas high school football playoff games. You get awesome exclusive online content at TexasFootball.com, including our premium podcast, high school football podcast, Tep and Step. A lot of great stuff. Get your mom the gift of football.
Yeah.
At TexasFootball.com/subscribe.
And tell her about WTF.
Tell her about WTF. You guys had the rep from Kendra Scott on. I didn't tell you this.
Awesome.
I didn't tell you this.
Was Jen jealous?
Oh, I showed my wife that, and she was fuming.
It was awesome. I was so pumped, and she left it like she gave us necklaces. The North Texas edition of like the green Kendra Scott necklace. I was like I was behind the camera running it and like jaw to the floor. And Mallory was like, "I gotta give you a hug." It rocked.
Anyway, TexasFootball.com/subscribe makes a great gift for your mom. Coming up here in just a moment, Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday. We're answering questions from you nerds. Get them in the comments. But first, a word from these valued partners.
I feel like bustin' loose, bustin' loose. Come on, get on up. Oh yeah, get on up. Bustin' loose when you wanna say, bustin' loose, baby, do your thing. Talking about bustin' loose, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Wing is the largest residential drone delivery provider in the world, delivering to your home in less than 30 minutes. Order using an app just like other popular delivery services, and Wing's automated drone takes care of the rest. It's fast, safe, and sustainable, and it's now delivering to parts of Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. You can learn more at wing.com/TexasFootball. Again, that's wing.com/TexasFootball.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
Back here on Texas Football Today, I'm Greg, that's Ashley. Here on a Friday in May 3rd, and Fridays, May 3rds on this show.
Going great.
we celebrate Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday.
The North Texas Honda dealers want to help you score on award-winning Hondas like the
Say it.
rugged and reliable
Oh, yeah.
2024 Honda Ridgeline. You can check them out at ntxhondadealers.com or go visit your Helpful Honda dealer today to talk about, again, the rugged and ever so reliable 2024 Honda Ridgeline.
I saw a Honda Ridgeline the other day, and I was like,
It was
dang.
so rugged.
The ruggedness is just overwhelming.
So reliable.
It's a shocking amount of ruggedness.
Agreed.
And I was too in awe of the ruggedness that like it wasn't until afterwards I was like, man, that was reliable too.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, North Texas Honda dealers. Get your questions in: high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel. Get them into the comments. Facebook and YouTube. We'll get to a few of them here in a moment. One thing, can I tell you something? I've worked here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football for since time immemorial.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you're super old, so.
I've worked here since I was a young man, and now I am.
Now you are old.
I literally just noticed something about something I've been staring at for years. Okay? I'm going to do some producing on the fly. Watch this.
Oh, goodness.
So this.
Be careful with it.
Oh, I know. This is the 1960 edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. This is our
legit.
the first copy of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. So this magazine is 65 years old, right? And you pay attention to Jack Collins and all this fun stuff. I never realized until just now that this must have been one that they marketed out of state, because look at the bottom.
Oh, yeah. What does it say?
So it says Arkansas, 6 pages on Porkers' title contenders, or title contender. Which, first of all, we got to start calling Arkansas the Porkers more. Like, we just absolutely do. But it normally says 574 Texas schoolboy teams.
Yep.
Like, I looked at that and I'm like, it was a real Berenstain Bears situation. What's that thing called? The Mandela effect?
Yep.
It was a real Mandela effect moment for me. I was like, have I been wrong this entire time?
And
but,
it's like,
but no, like if you look up the 1960 edition, the one that'll pop up on like Google will say, and we have another one here. We only have 2 at the office. This is one of them. It'll say 574 schoolboy teams. But I just noticed that, and I had a momentary freak out.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That's pretty cool.
Check that out. Also, like,
we don't do that anymore.
if you've ever flipped through old magazines, TexasFootball.com/archive, you can flip through all of our magazines.
The ads are incredible.
The ads are wild.
The ads are ads that we would never be allowed
Like
to
we
put
love
in
all
the
of our
magazine.
partners here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and be very clear, but like like a lot of there, like we focus a lot on some of the other things. There are a lot of department stores, like a lot of department store ads, a lot of like insurance like ads and stuff, and we still have some of those.
Right.
But also like
Cigarette ads.
Cigarette ads.
That would be like, in today's society, that would be like us running a vape ad.
Yeah,
you know,
we
like
were running a vape ad. There was a Canadian Club ad. Like there was one like whiskey, and then there was like another one of like wine coolers. Like there was like booze ads
and
in
that's
our
a
magazine.
big no-no from the UIL at this point.
Oh yeah. Well, and the other thing, so pull back the curtain fully. When we used to have a Cowboys and Texans preview. If you remember, we used to have a very small NFL section.
Yes.
We have ditched it because for 2 reasons. 1, we don't think people come to us for NFL stuff, plain and simple. And 2, we needed the pages because like the state is growing and there's more football to cover, and we have a maximum number of 400 pages, and so we needed the pages. But one of the advantages of the NFL section was that, at least the way I was taught when I was growing up here in this, when my crib was still here at the office, was that you could sell a beer ad.
Right.
Like
as long as it's in that section.
You could have in that section, because it's separated. We all agree that people who go to NFL games drink beer.
Yeah, that's that's why NFL teams have official beer partners.
Yeah, but now what's so funny? We'll just do full business talk here. Hi, it's Business Friday.
Business.
It is so wild now. It's still wild to me to go to college football games and see like not just beer ads like at these games, but also like obviously people selling beer.
Yeah.
It's still wild to me.
That's funny
It's
because
just-
that was I hit it like right at the right time of like that does not, it weirds me out when stadiums don't have beer. That's where my mindset
But
is.
it's like I would imagine that North Texas has like an official The official beer of North Texas. Like, one of the big brands.
The last time I was there, I think it was Miller Coors.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's still it.
That's so wild to me. And like, I'm certain that like people who are like my age and older feel a lot of the same way of like, oh man, that's kind of weird. Anyway, enough of that. Do we have any questions from the people?
We sure do. Hypothetically, if North Shore and Duncanville didn't exist, how many teams would be state title contenders in 6A? I'm going to say 6A D1 at
6A
that
D1.
point. Because,
so
like,
obviously DeSoto exists.
Yeah.
They won 2 straight D2 titles. So 6A D1.
Okay, that's the first part of the question.
Okay.
So let's answer that first.
Okay. How many would be, like, immediately off the top of my head, contenders would be like Lake Travis or Westlake, right? South Lake Carroll. In 2024 and recently, North Crowley would be in that mix. Atascocita is one that always, like, I'm thinking about the teams that like cannot get over the Duncanville or North Shore hump. Atascocita is chief among them.
Yes.
Right. Like depending on where Katy goes, Katy would be in that mix. Depending on where like Cibolo Steel goes.
Summer Creek, if they can, I get depending on where they go, they might be too far down.
Yeah, I think they might be too small. But like, those would be the ones that like, if Duncanville and North Shore didn't exist, we would be having a lot of conversations about, like, it would be a lot bigger deal, like the Lake Travis Westlake dynamic.
Yes.
That would be a bigger deal. Atascocita, I think, would have played in a couple title games by now, quite frankly. South Lake Carroll would be a perennial state championship like contender. They are, obviously. This is just like getting over that hump.
Right.
These are the teams that they're running into like the glass ceiling of North Shore and Duncanville. So I would say those are the short list. I would say that there would be about 5 or 6, whereas right now it does feel like it would take an upset to keep North Shore and Duncanville out of a title game.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
The second part of that question would be also, is the gap for D1s versus D2 evening out or widening in this alignment?
Are we talking 6A or are we talking...
That was at part 2 of that question.
So presumably
hypothetically,
6A.
yeah, the state title contenders in 6A also, is the gap for D1 versus D2 evening out or widening in this alignment?
It's an excellent question.
It really just depends.
So here's the thing. Here, like, what I would say right now, D1 probably has the greater quality depth.
Yeah, but D2 has as of last year the best Texas high school football team pound for pound.
The more I've thought about it, the more it is inarguable to me that Duncanville was pound for pound, or I'm sorry, DeSoto was pound for pound the best team in Texas high school football last year.
Duncanville destroyed North Shore basically, and then DeSoto beat Duncanville. Like,
DeSoto beat Duncanville.
Those were the 3 best teams.
DeSoto beat Duncanville by 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
And DeSoto was pound for pound the best team in Texas high school football, which is a strange thing to say for a team at the highest level.
Right.
And so I would say that there is greater depth in D1. That, like, if you were to ask me how many D1, there are more D1 teams that could win the D2 or D2 bracket than vice versa. However, like, DeSoto really changes, they adjust the curve really in a lot of ways. I do think it's closing because like we do take for granted, like North Shore and Duncanville are big schools. They're large schools. I think they're both over 4,000 students. But like Allen has been good, but not like a world beater.
No.
The Plano schools have been playoff-ish, but not contenders, right? So these big mega schools, Conroe has not been a team that's been like in the mix. Coppell has been on the rise. It's a top 10 school as far as enrollment is concerned.
Permian.
But like they're good, but they're not. I don't think right now. I think there's still a step for them to take to get to that statewide contention. So I would say that as far as like what the purpose of having the D1 D2 split in 6A is concerned, I would say that it is evening out a little bit simply because I think enrollment is a strange thing to say, but I think we have reached the limits of how much enrollment matters. Like, I think a lot of people got caught up in like Allen.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, well, they've got 7,000 students. And when they were rolling, they were winning 3 straight.
Yeah. But it's not because they had 7,000 students. It's because they had one
They had one student.
5'7" guy who
They had
was
one
pretty good
student.
at football.
Yeah. If Kyler Murray had stayed at Louisville, we'd probably be talking about Louisville in that same.
Right.
So all that's to say, it's a good question. I do think that gap has narrowed. I do think D1, the majority of D1 teams, if you were to just line them up and stack them 1 through 64 versus 1 through 64, the D1 teams would win more games than the D2 teams. But I think it would be closer than it has been in past years.
I agree.
So I think it's close a little bit.
Yep.
What's next, Gizmo?
With North Shore, I'm sticking on the North Shore train.
Wow, okay.
With North Shore playing Sock and Fort Bend Marshall playing Skyline, do you see more teams in the future making road trips like this before district play?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, I absolutely do. I think that one of the trends that you are going to start to see over the next few years is, and it's already started, is that coaches want their teams to get used to getting on a bus. They want to get used to playing teams from the nether regions and going somewhere that they haven't been before, because that's what it's going to take in the playoffs.
Right. And I think the reason being with that is because all the teams that have had the recent success were a little bit more on the uphill of the bell curve. Like they were the ones kind of leading that charge.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that if you start thinking about what it takes to win a state championship, you cannot, like the day, I do think that because of the way that realignment breaks down and that there's more cross-regional, like there's more geographic diversity within regions, within UIL regions is what I mean, that you look at 5A Division I Region 2, okay? DFW to East Texas, right? There's even sometimes where it's been Southeast Texas in there. You have these kind of wide-ranging things. And so in order to, it used to be that, you don't have to leave your area until you get to a state semifinal. Those days are gone and like dead or dying. And so you're going to have to travel to do it. Like I remember, I want to say it was back in 2018. Back in 2018, one of the things on North Shore was, hey, they haven't left Houston.
Right.
Like all their games had been within the Houston. They had like won a flip with, I think they beat Westlake in the semifinal, Westlake or Lake Travis in the semifinal. And they won a flip and they played at NRG. So they didn't leave until they went to Arlington. They didn't leave. And I remember that was an open question heading into that title game of like, all right, like,
does that matter?
They have never been on the road, and that's a true road trip. So I do think that that is a real outlier situation. And you are going to need to travel at least an hour, hour and a half somewhere to play a third round game or sometimes a second round game. And as a result, coaches want to be prepared for that.
I also think too, I feel like and there's still coaches that that each of them have their own opinion, but I feel like back in the day, the mantra of, hey, we want to play people to just kind of like get our feet wet and stuff in non-district. Like now I feel like people are seeking out, we want to play the best teams of the best teams because that's how you get actually prepared. And I just feel like there's more people that are going after that line of thinking now of, if we're going to win a state championship, we have to play the who's who in the first 3 weeks.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And I think that it's a copycat league, right? And I think what you're seeing is these teams that are consistently playing for state championships, they are loading up in non-district. Part of that is by necessity, that nobody wants to play them, right? Part of it's by necessity, but the other part of it is that iron sharpens iron, and they want to get better. So I do think that is something that you've seen more and more, and I think that's an excellent point, that there is more of an incentive to play a tough game. I'm workshopping this opinion, but I'm going to do it live, which is dangerous to do.
Yep.
I think the incentives have changed a little bit. I think there is a better understanding now in the zeitgeist around taking a non-district loss.
Yeah. Oh, here's your prime example. Can we visit our friends in Brock?
Yeah.
Brock, for the past 2 years, has started off with some sort of mix of 0-4, 1-3, and yet they're still consistently ranked in the top 10, and they still consistently make it to the state championship, the state semifinals, all of that stuff. Like, they are the prime example of, hey, the weight in the non-district is to get better. It's not to worry about other things.
Spectacular point. Let's go back to 2022 Brock. That's a perfect example.
0-4.
They started 0-4. Lost to Pleasant Grove, Hershey, Wimberley, and Gunner. Okay? By the way, all pretty close games.
Yes.
But they lost all those games. They started
The
0-4.
Hershey game was in overtime.
They
Double
started-
overtime.
Yeah.
I was there.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it was a good game. This, in a different, I would say in a different universe, in a different time, people would be saying, we got to run Billy Mathis out of town.
Yeah, fire him now.
Fire him. Like, I think there would be there would be more of a grumbling around the city, around the diners, and around the people in Brock because we're 0-4. I think that the Texas high school football fan, let me see if I can say this in a way that's not going to insult a past generation. They're more informed. I think they have more of a greater understanding of the entirety of the game.
Well, yeah, because back in the day, you could only look at your local newspaper. So you knew the teams regionally around you, but you didn't know statewide that kind of stuff. That's why they weren't traveling across the state.
And I do think that there is a certain level of, I don't want to toot our own horn here, Dave Campbell's.
But toot.
I think there's something to be said about the rankings. And the way that rankings have been done recently, when we kind of took over the statewide rankings, again, this is going to sound really self-important, and I don't mean it to, but like, we get a lot of crap. When we kept Brock ranked at 0-3, I think it was, we caught a lot of hell. But we also thought that was the right move, and frankly, we were right in the end. And I think that people are looking for snapshots of high school football, and rankings provide a nice snapshot. And so, as a result, I think that journalism, high school journalism in the state, has become a little more sophisticated, a little more thoughtful, and because we just have more access to more information, quite frankly. And so, as a result, I think that allows journalists to write smarter. And as a result, I think that informs the public in a smarter way that allows them so that when they are 0-4, it's not just like, well, this team obviously sucks.
Yep.
So
I agree with that.
All that's a long answer to a short question. But I do think that there is the incentives have changed. And I think that the appetite and the understanding of taking a tough non-district loss and the value that it pays on the back end is more of a widely understood thing across the Texas high school football zeitgeist.
I agree.
There's that. All right, I have one or two more?
I have an ender for you.
Okay.
What country would you want to visit the most, and what country do you want to visit the least?
The most is Japan.
I knew that. I knew that for
I'm
you.
a Japan guy. I think Japan rocks. It is old and bizarre and spectacular and diverse and different, and I love it. I think that would be really, really cool. And also, it would just be like, to me, that would feel like a real culture shock.
Yes.
And that would be fun. When I went to Ireland, it was just like, okay, like this is just like I've been to cities like this, and like everyone talks a little funny, and like some of the culture is a little bit different. But that would be a full culture shock. So I would say Japan is probably my number one. I don't know if there's a country I'm just like out on. I don't want to go somewhere like super cold.
I was going to say, like,
Iceland does look like it rocks.
Iceland is awesome.
Iceland looks like it rocks. Like the Scandinavian countries look like they rock.
I've been to Reykjavik, Iceland.
I'm not real interested in Russia, although like my wife is.
Really?
My wife really wants to go to Russia because she just thinks like the history there is super fast. She's read a lot of stuff on the history there.
I guess it's a continent, but Antarctica, like I don't really, You know what?
There are
Maybe
people,
here's
I've had
this-
friends who've been there and like they say it's awesome. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I've got that dog in me.
I don't think like even, okay. What about like Greenland? Because it's like just
That's
ice.
just ice.
It's just ice.
Not interested.
And I'm sure that there are places in Greenland that are incredibly beautiful, and that there's a lot that you could learn about. I don't know, ice, but I don't
Juice ain't worth that squeeze.
I don't like the cold, man.
No.
Like Iceland is fine because it is so beautiful, and it's like you can pick if you're in the snow or out of the snow. There's little cities, like that kind of stuff. My number one that I would want to go to is Australia. I really want to get out to like the Australia kind of New Zealand type of thing. Don't want to go to like Greenland. I don't really have.
Yeah.
Don't have.
You
much
know
of
what I've been pretty geeked out on Egypt lately.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
Egypt seems cool. I had a friend of mine went to Tunisia and said it was awesome.
I've
Northern
heard-
Africa seems awesome.
Yes, I've heard Thailand is fantastic too.
Good food.
I've heard Thailand is very cool.
Yeah. I've also heard like underrated like Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
You go to like Serbia, you go to Lithuania, you go see where Luca's from, Slovenia.
No
Go to
desire.
Ljubljana. Shout out Luca. Big game tonight. It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Midlothian Heritage Head Coach Eric Edwards for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please meet your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you Monday on Texas Football Today. Mwah.